All right, people, welcome to the Contractor Sales Academy podcast. Steve, Derek, what's up, guys? How we doing today?
I just can't wait to hear what Steve's going to say. So let's try. Steve is fired up, y'all. Get
Know
ready.
what today is? I tell you what, we're going to have a COVID-19 special podcast today, and let's call it opening day for Major League Baseball. You know why?
Why?
I'm going to bring a goddamn bat right upside your head today. That's how I feel.
Derek, I have a feeling our job's going to be easy today.
It's just going to sit back and listen.
I got a story to tell, and I know it's the story is so prevalent to everybody. There's a lot of industries right now just flat on their backs out of business. Okay, and I come from one of the worlds that I'm involved in is the dance world, and one of my dance instructors, they run dances and they teach private lessons. Well, understand with this 6 foot rule, you can't, the dance world is dead. Well, yeah. It's also like the restaurant world, dead. The house cleaning world, dead. Anything that comes in human contact with other humans, dead. So what happens? You can sit and wallow. You can sit and collect the $1,200 Uncle Sam is sending everybody. Maybe you get some of the PPP money, but maybe, just maybe, you got a plan B. Maybe you got some talent somewhere and you can fall back on plan B. So the story I want to tell you is I got this dance teacher that's dead, and I'm going to call him Bob, okay? Because just in case he's listening, he knows who he's talking about, but I don't need to embarrass him. But this is many people's stories, not just Bob's. And Bob used to be a remodeler. So Bob has skills in terms of handyman stuff. He can go to your house and he can fix some stuff up. So I need a bunch of screens in my screen porch, all the whole thing redone. So I hire Bob, and he comes, he does a great job. Takes him a little long, but he's got skills. Like literally he does a work, okay? And so we talk about, okay, right now your love, the dance world is dead. So you got to reinvent yourself and make some money. So we're talking about, now let's talk about how to run a little handyman business, okay? And if you're listening to me right now, this is you. I'm talking about you and your business. So the first thing you got to understand is I am not an artist. Like if you're a painter or an electrician or plumber or remodeler, your number one joy in life cannot be the product that you produce. And I know this is going to sound, but your number one thing has to be, I'm a business person first, and then I'm an artist second. Because it never works out, never, that you're an artist first and you're a business person second. And here's what I'm talking about exactly. Picasso and people like that, you know when they made most of their money? When they died. When they fucking died, and now their paintings become more valuable because they're dead. Well, you got to wake up. If you're in business for yourself, you got to wake up and go, I'm a business person first. Like I had a pond company. I was a businessman first, and I'm a pond company guy second. And I know a shit ton of pond builders that are artists first, and they don't have two nickels to rub together because they will tear apart a goddamn waterfall 6 ways to Sunday and redo it, and they ain't never happy. And homeowners going, I really kind of like the first version. Yeah. But they can't get out of their own damn way and run a business. So I'm helping Bob along, and he got a call from one of my friends. Wow, I saw what you did at Steve's house. Come rescreen my porch. Well, 2 weeks later, I find out Bob hasn't even called her back. I'm like, Bob, what the hell? I don't understand it. You call her back. In fact, what happened is they all bumped into my house yesterday because they were all there, both this new homeowner and Bob. And she goes, hey, Bob, what's up with that? Oh, my daughter is sick. Sorry, I haven't gotten back to you, but I will. I will. And then today when I saw him, I said, that was bullshit. She called you 2 weeks ago and you tell her yesterday that your daughter was sick. What? That's like my dog ate it. That's a bull excuse. So here's how I had to explain it. I said, understand, when you wake up every day, if you're going to be a business guy, your job, your sole job is to make money. Go get the money. You have to figure out, someone else has the money, how do I get it? And how you get it is do a good job at whatever you do. But you have to get the money, because guess what? When you go to the grocery store, what do they want? Money. When you go to the hockey game, what do they want to get in? Money. When you go do any goddamn thing in this country, what do they want first before you're getting whatever it is? Money.
Last thing I heard was money. Yeah.
Money.
Last I heard was money.
I said, Bob, I hate to sound shit like this, but you didn't make up the money rules. I didn't make up the money rules, but they're pretty clear. If you ain't got none, you ain't getting any. Go get the money. So you should be waking up. And I'm not talking about Bob. I'm talking, if you're hearing my voice right now, do you wake up and go, today, I need to go find $500 somewhere? Maybe your number's 1,000. Mine was 1,000. But I need to go find $500 somewhere. And God damn it, I'm going to do that. And so if you have people calling you up that have the money and want to give it to you, you have to go get it. You have to earn their trust, earn their business, go do a good job, but collect the money. You can't be calling these people back 2 weeks later. You hear Tom say all the time kills deals, okay? When someone calls you up, think about this, and this is a little straying, but someone's at work, call it pre-COVID, and they actually got a job, and they're at work and it's noon, and let's just say they have a plumbing leak or whatever. They call you up and they want to talk to somebody. And they're in work mode, let's fix my life mode, and it's one conversation. Now, think about the same conversation if the plumber waits till 8 o'clock at night to call the customer back. What is the customer's mindset at 8 o'clock at night versus noon? See, at noon, they're in, let's fix my life mode. But at 8 o'clock at night, it's probably just after dinner. We're probably 1 or 2 drinks into the evening. And the homeowner wants to just slide into like their routine, right? The last thing they want to do is try to pound it out with the plumber. To fix those problems, and for me to give away money was at noon. It ain't at 8 o'clock at night. So I'll ask, I said, Bob, do you think I'm crazy? That's all this? No. And you know what pissed me off, Steve? I know all this shit. I know all this shit and I don't do it. I don't know why I don't do it. I'm like, well, you know what? You got to pick your pain, and your pain is going to be immediate and it's going to be severe, because you don't have 2 fucking nickels to rub together. And when you wake up in the morning, the next time you wake up, it's going to be under a goddamn park bench. Because this house you're living in, without the money, how long are you going to live in that house before the landlord says, you know, Bob, you're out, buddy. I need money. So you don't need to be a goddamn genius to run your business. You need 3 things to run your business. 1, basic math. If it costs you $1 to produce, charge 2. The second thing you need is how to communicate with your fellow human being. When that customer calls you up to replace the screen porches, you actually call her back and go, hey, I'm here to do it. By the way, I'd like to share with you maybe what, do you know Steve paid $4,000 to have his screens replaced? Hey, you're just throwing out a little money thing so they understand we're talking money, right? It's not for free. And the third thing you need to run a successful little business is learn how to treat people well, so they actually want to hang around with you and be with you. Because if the people can't stand you and they don't want to be with you, you cannot build a team. So know a little math, learn how to talk to people, and learn how to treat people well, and you will die a freaking millionaire. Simple. Ask yourself this. If you think I'm lying, you ask yourself this. If you charge 50% profit margin on every job you ever did from now to the day you die, would you or would you not die a millionaire?
You would. You would.
You would. Go get the money. Quit farting around. Go get the money. You might be in a business 20 years, 20 crappy years. You're struggling along, because if you're struggling, you listen to me. Because if you're successful, you're not listening to this podcast right now. And I say this. I said, you have not been in business for 20 years. You have been in this for 1 year. You had one crappy year. And you know what you've done? You've repeated it 19 times. That's where you are today, because you refuse to grow and learn. Because, baby, you're living on a vine, and you're either thriving and living or you're dying. You choose. Derek, I'm done.
So let me validate this with you. Just exactly what you're saying, Steve, because I was the contractor that Steve is hitting you in the head right now with a baseball bat. I had my lights cut off. I couldn't pay shit. I did all that. Only because I would say the same thing. I know all of this shit I'm supposed to do, but I just don't do it, and I don't know why. Well, you know what's interesting right now? I'm doing this podcast at a gas station because I'm on my way to pick up a full payment for a con cleaning, and she wants to do other things. So used to, I would go, okay, the customer's going to kind of pay me something, and we're kind of going to get there, and, you know, this will be working out fine. But now I go, hey, you're good with paying. So for me, this is my mindset now, because how we pre-qualify is like, to me, that's a consultation fee and a deposit. Like, it's all rolled into one. I'm actually going to go get full payment for the cleaning. So why not go see this lady? Because she wants other things done too. So I'm not going to get all into my head and go, I want to do this or that or whatever. I just go get the money. And I'm going to go there. And Tom and Steve were talking about this earlier. Tom said, you probably walk out of there with $7,500. I have a feeling I'm going to walk out of there with more, because I can treat her well. I'm communicating. I'm solving her problem because she needs to get it done now. I'm not going to wait for her to be 8:30 in the evening, having that cocktail or two after dinner. And that's usually what happens. So you guys, what Steve is saying, you know it, but at some point you have to go, put your blinders on and just go and do it, because it totally works. And I'll validate it with this. I had another client call me today. This is a job that Travis sold, and she was embarrassed literally embarrassed because she felt like we were going to be upset with her because she has not called us back to give us payment. And this is like scrambling my brain. It's like, her name's Mrs. Claggett. And I'm like, Mrs. Claggett, I don't, like, what do you mean? She's like, I was dreading this phone call because it's been a month since you guys gave me the quote. We went out there, took care of some other stuff. Travis gave her a quote on property. And she said, I'm embarrassed because I thought you guys might be upset with me because I just, I needed to make the decision, but with this whole COVID thing, I just needed to make sure things were lined up. And I was scared to call and tell you that I want to do this. And I just don't want you to be upset with me. And I'm going, what the fuck just happened? Like she did the takeaway on me in a way. And it's like, Mrs. Claggett, you're fantastic. It's no, we totally, and I know you told me it was going to be in July, and I'm thinking now it's probably going to be in August, and I don't want to upset you and mess up your schedule. So it's, we think things one way, one direction, but what I'm trying to share with this is there's also prospects and customers out there that have the same head trash you do. So if you just show up and communicate and make phone calls and get them to them faster, it's like Tom says, time kills deals. If you just get to them faster, they might just apologize and write you a check because they felt bad because for some reason they hit the pause button and they're worried that they're going to screw up your schedule and schedule in August. So get out of your head, do just what Steve said, and go do it. God damn it.
It's funny, Steve, I've known you a long time. I've heard this stuff out of your mouth, I don't know, 400 times maybe. You guys on podcast can't see this, but I was taking notes. I was taking notes, even though I've heard it a million times. And I took notes, Steve, on what you said about the three things and all that, because I'm like, I got to write that down. I don't want to forget that stuff. But before that, I wrote some things here that were coming to mind as you were talking about this situation with Bob and others like this. Number one, this is a violation of the number one rule, which is don't mess with the money, right? I mean, that's the thing you live and die by, man, in the business. And it doesn't make you, if you're listening to this, all these things, you want to treat people well. You want to serve your community and donate money and hook up your employees and give bonuses. Guys, none of that happens if you don't have any money. Okay, so don't mess with the money. I mean, you said a couple of times today, we're talking about time kills deals. I did an online speaking gig like this for somebody last month, got paid handsomely for it. They sent me an email this morning the alert goes off, and basically they're like, hey, we just paid your invoice. May's looking like April. We want to have you back in April to do it, or in May to do it again. What topic do you want to bring us, or whatever it was. And I replied literally within like 3 minutes, guys, and I had the deal closed in 10 minutes with the new pricing and all this other stuff. And the point is, I was telling myself, I'm like, I can't give this any room to breathe. I can't give this any room for anyone to change their mind. You got to go out. And there's a guy in one of our groups who posted something yesterday. Yeah, I've had this job scheduled for 2 months now, and they just pulled the rug out from under me. And then somebody asked a question like, well, did you get a deposit check? Did you get a signed contract? He's like, no, but they told me they were going to do it in 2 months. Guys, that's not a commitment. It's you being a lazy ass, just like, Bob was here. I'm sure Bob's a good guy, but he has to strike. You know what, Steve, when he's going to realize it, when he can't pay his fucking rent in May, he's going to go, shit, I probably should have jumped on that neighbor of Steve's job. You know what I'm saying?
Great at
yeah, shit. So don't mess with the money. Here's the second thing. Steve, you said you got to be a business person first. On my podcast just yesterday, guys, I interviewed a guy in his first year of business. He did $60,000. In his second year of business, he did 1.1 million. Guess what? Zero industry experience when he started. Not a craftsman. And he's 16 years old. Lives in Boulder, Colorado. In his second year of business, did 1.1 million. Now, we talked about some things on the podcast, and he owned it. He's like, man, we hustled. We grew our asses off. I got 9 people working for me. We're doing lots of work, but I got to up my profit because I'm not making as much money as I want to make. And so he just joined the bridge, and he joined some of our other stuff because he's trying to be a business guy first. And that's what happens. So many guys that we know that have been in the industry for a decade or two, and they can't figure out why they haven't sold more than 200 grand a year, because they can't get out of their own damn way as a craftsman. So I thought of that. And then the final thing I wrote down here, guys, was our economic conditions in our own life and business are, whether they're good or bad, whatever those conditions are 90% self-imposed. I don't see it any other way. So if listen, COVID, or whatever we want to call it here, this whole virus thing, if this is not the reason why guys are broke. I mean, just think about it. I mean, both of you guys I'm talking to and me right now, we're not freaking out. We're not dying. We're not starving. Why? Well, because holy shit, look at that. I looked down to the 3 things Steve shared. If it costs you $1, charge 2. Communicate with others well, and treat your team well, and this and that. Guys, we've been doing these things for a long time, and we're actually doing okay. And we have some runway to weather the storm and stuff. So guys, 90%, if you're listening to this and you're in a shit sandwich, I guarantee at least 90% of that shit sandwich was caused by your own actions or lack of action, because Derek, you touched on this and I wrote it down. The whole thing, I just don't know what to do, or I just haven't gotten around to it, or I'm just not disciplined, Tom. And I mean, you guys see it in our groups. There's guys in our groups that week in and week out, month in, month out, they say the same old shit. I'm just not a very disciplined person. I don't know what I need to do to be able to just go do my job. And I'm like, that's the point. Go do your job. Go do your job. And what I think is, well, then the pain must not be great enough for you yet. I don't know about you. If I have a hot poker sticking in my fucking eye, and it's on fire, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my water and I'm going to put the fire out. Then I'm going to find a way to pull the thing out of my eye because the pain is there. So apparently, I don't even know where I'm going with this because it pisses me off. I'm like, I don't understand why people have such a hard fucking time being disciplined and waking up every day and just doing the shit you got to do. I don't know.
Well, I do.
All right,
Well,
what do you got?
I'll
Educate me, Papa Bear.
I'll wrap it up like this. My own sister 10 years ago hired a business coach. She hired a Tom Reber, and he paid the guy like $7,700. And after like 3 months, she called me up because I was trying to just help her out, and she's like, I fired him. And you know what? He pissed me off because there's some clause like I got to pay him all the money. Like I don't even get my money back. I'm like, well, geez, let me ask you a question. Why did you fire him? Because he didn't tell me anything new. Like, what does that mean? Everything he told me, I already knew. And so I said, and I'll just change her name. We'll call her Bob too. I was like, Bob, that's because what you hired is a babysitter. You hired him to remind you every month to do the shit that you don't want to do, because that's the difference between success and failure. And you thought he was going to sell you some magic easy button. And there isn't a magic easy button. Now, I don't know why this process to wake up and go get the money seems difficult for people. And I don't know why it seems so easy to me that it is really nothing more than just doing the three things I talked about and treating people like you'd like to be treated. Show up, do a good job, be upfront with people, and you could talk about the money and all that kind of stuff. So again, nobody here made up the money rules, but they're pretty goddamn clear. You got to have not just some of it, but a bunch of it so you can live the life you want to live. So if you are the amalgamation, the summation of all of your actions, not your thoughts. Thoughts are like great for one split second, but if you don't act on these thoughts, it's nothing. It's meaningless. I mean, here's Bob, he's shadowing me for a couple of days so he can quote unquote learn from a very successful entrepreneur. But he's not doing a goddamn thing I said. He's not turning it into action. And
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being able to shadow Steve Shinholzer for a couple of days? I mean, the dude doesn't even realize what he has. I mean, god damn.
Well, sometimes, Derek, and it's a whole different topic, but I think it's like if you're going to hang with me, I'm bringing a fire hose. And I know it's too much for a lot of people. It's like, this guy, we talk about dance analogies. You can't bring a top level dancer to a beginner dancer and show him these fancy ass moves. It's not going to work because he cannot comprehend. He's not ready for the fancy moves. He has to start with baby steps, little moves, string them together, and through, a bunch of years of hard work, you'll be a master dancer. It's the same thing with business. You need to start. This is why I boil this stuff down, Tom and Derek, to the three simple things to run a small business.
Yeah.
No basic math. Learn how to speak to people and treat people well. And it's that goddamn simple. So if you can wrap your head around all that stuff and you're willing to make some change and you're willing to do some of the things we're talking about here, you could have a whole different life than what you got right now.
I do.
You make it sound so simple when it's just those three things, but it's like you said, everyone's looking for the new shiny thing, the new piece of information that's going to be the secret weapon when it just comes down to just do the shit that you got to do each day. Keep it simple and be consistent.
You and I and Derek, we chuckle to ourselves because we've been teaching such a simple concept for 6 years now. And that's have an open, honest conversation with someone on the telephone first before you waste your time. Now with this COVID-19 stuff, the entire coaching world has woken up to virtual sales over the telephone. Let's use Zoom for sales. And we've been doing this shit for 6 years. It was just so simple to us, not because of a virus, because it made sense. It saves time and makes you more money. That's why we do it. Now we look like we're geniuses. And trust me, we're not geniuses.
We're not. I was just going to say we're not. So
you don't have to be.
This is literally, I think, what is a genius IQ? 140? I think between the three of us, we might hit 100 between the three of us. And that's a sad part. If these people knew, I used to stand up in the pond word all the time. I would just say this: who's the worst pond builder in the world? And everybody was like, you are. I'm like, who's the richest son of a bitch in this room? You are.
You are.
And I'm like, exactly. Why does that make sense? Why is the worst artist, the worst pond builder, make the most money? Because I run a business first, and everything else is second.
And let me be clear for the one or two people listening to this that are going, that's not fair. If you're going to charge people lots of money, you should be the best craftsman and blah, blah, blah. Guys, what Steve is saying here is there's other people that are more talented as artists. Him and his team go in and do high quality work that overly pleases their clients. Okay. Their clients rave about them, shit tons of repeat business, great reviews, things like that. Okay. Because Steve and his team, when they sell to people, they connect with the person's motive and the things that are important to them and all those things. So I want to be very clear here because, guys, whenever I've made comments like this on other platforms and things like that, there's usually a couple people that are replying back going, oh, that's just dishonest and this and that. When at the end of the day, God, I hate that saying, by the way, but I don't even know what to say with it. If I get what I want as a consumer, I don't care. Okay, I don't care about the type of crown molding and the way that you cut the wood or the spray tip you used. If I get what I want, then I'm happy. And what I most want is, yeah, the product and service, but I want that great experience, and I don't want a to-do list on the other end of the job that's going to complicate my life. And a lot of consumers are like that. So anyway, that being said, anything else, guys, before we wrap up?
I think that'll do for today. That's enough head explosion for one day.
DJ?
I'm all good. Just quit overthinking shit. Just go do it. You might be surprised that you actually do it.
There you go. Well, with that, we would really appreciate a rating or a review wherever you're listening to this podcast. Share it with another contractor, and head to contractorsalesacademy.com /demo if you want to look under the hood of the Bridge program, what we have going on there. Amazing community of like-minded people, lots of high-touch coaching, changing lives, yada, yada, yada. Contractorsalesacademy.com /demo. We'll see you guys next time. All right, we have a PS to this podcast episode. I stopped the recording, and Steve, you started sharing some other stuff. So why don't you go ahead and just share what's on your mind, and then we'll end this again.
So the quickest way to become successful is go find someone else who is. They're doing exactly what you want to do and follow them. So how do you follow and emulate them? You still go hang out with people that think like this. So if you're listening to Derek, Tom, and myself, and you're sitting here going, yeah, that shit sounds just right. Man, I wish I had that mindset. Well, go to a group like the Bridge, like the group that we actually have and we coach and we mentor. Go hang out with them. You get access not just to us, but 350 other people that all think alike. We all think like this. And I can promise you one thing. If you go ask these people that really apply this thing, they don't just say, hey, this changed my business. They say, this thing changed my entire life. My entire life. So if you want your life to change, go to the Bridge and start hanging out with people that are where you want to be.